All right, welcome to the chapter on the AB philosophy. Now, the AB philosophy I created in 2002 to 2003. It's been evolving since then, but my main focus was how to get rid of patterns in West Coast swing and Lindy Hop, and how to figure out exactly how to get to the root of this dance to actually figure out how we can lead follow everything. To me, if you can do it on one side, you can do it on the other. In fact, in all the other art forms that I practice and that I perform in and train in, you're supposed to try everything on the right side and left side equally, and then forwards and backwards, etc. So to me, just because a whip goes down the right side and then turns and goes down the other side, why is that a whip? Why can't it just be an energy flow that can be going in either direction? It's just a traffic cop with traffic flow. So my goal for this chapter is to share with you two things. One is the pyramid of basics, what I created in 2000 till 2002, which was meant to be my syllabus for all the different patterns and movements in West Coast swing and Lindy Hop. We'll just go for West Coast swing from now on. And then I'm going to show you the very basic version of the AB pyramid, which is actually the full version. So I'm going to explain to you what the pyramid of basics is. I'm going to demo these with Tess and Minnick. Then I'm going to show you the AB pyramid and why, to me, this is much, much better. So we start off with the sugar push. Now this top line, you can see how there's a pyramid that goes down and builds, and then we have the bottom of the pyramid and the peak at the top. The sugar push is a one-way and back motion. So as a leader, I'm moving backwards and I'm moving forwards. As a follower, I'm moving forwards and I'm moving backwards. If I were to do, as a follower, a sugar tuck turn, that would fall under the same umbrella as a sugar push, just so we're on the same page. The next line, left side pass and right side pass, LSP and RSP, left side pass and right side pass. These are one ways with no returns. So as a leader on a left side pass, I would ask my follower to move by, and then we post an anchor on the other side. A right side pass in my West Coast swing is not an underarm turn. A right side pass for me is simply the follower's body passing down my right side and traveling to the other side. Some people would call this a fake whip. So to demo those first three, we have the lovely Tess Minnick. Actually, I'll start you on this side. So our sugar push, SP, this is the first line of the pyramid of basics. A left side pass, and we'll do each of these from both sides, when my follower just goes from one side to the other and we post and we anchor. A right side pass for me is where the follower passes by on my right side, boom, boom, ba, post and anchor. Thank you, Tess Minnick.
You're welcome.
Now, the reason I started doing this is because I took an intensive from a brilliant lady. Her name is Skippy Blair. And in Los Angeles in 2001, I took a 10-day intensive with Skippy. And it was awesome. And I was one of the people in the class who she said something, and I'd be like, I have a question. I have a question. I agree. I disagree. I wanted to be involved in the conversation, and I saw a lot of things that didn't make sense to me. And to me, if it doesn't make sense, everything should have a purpose and a reason. So what Skippy said in 2001, actually, can I borrow you again, Tess? What Skippy said was, she said, this move is called a left side pass. And I wrote down in my notes, left side pass, I agree. Let's go back over here again. Then Skippy said, if you change hands and do this move, it's called a right side pass. And I said, Skippy, I have a problem with this. It should be irrelevant which hand, or if I use a knee or a foot, it should be irrelevant. If my partner's body is passing down this side of my body, it should be the same movement. So she was saying it was called a right side pass because when you turn your body, now this is the right side of the leader. But to me, with my spinal concept that says I can pivot and rotate around an axis of my spine, it should be irrelevant what appendage I use. So I came up with the fact that when we have a post and an anchor, when Tess passes on one side of my body or the other side, I would call these an A or a B. Precursor, foreshadowing to the next section. Thank you, Tess Minnick. Okay, so that's our left side pass, right side pass. Now, the third line These are counterclockwise turns, counterclockwise turns. So for that notation, I do a turn that's going to be I for inside. I inside simply meaning counterclockwise. Has nothing to do with which hand is going inside the face or outside the face. For my notation, writing CC for counterclockwise and C for clockwise was just not good for quick learning. So these are turns that go counterclockwise. The first one is down the right side, the second one's down the left side, and then the third one is the most common variation in West Coast swing. So now we're going to show you those three. So, Tess, I'm going to start you stage left. So the first one we have is the underarm turn. This is her turning counterclockwise down my right side. Watch that one more time. I just want to make sure we all agree. My right side, Tess goes down that side. Okay, now I'm going to reset you again. Now, if I do that exact same motion, a look at the watch turn or a counterclockwise turn down my left side, we have a 1 and a 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. What you should have noticed on this is that the underarm turn is very simple, not in terms of the mechanism, but in terms of how many turns my follower does. An underarm turn has a half turn. Right now, Tess is facing me and the north wall of the world. And then on the other side, she is facing the south wall of the world. So half turn. When we do the inside roll, she's facing me. She does 1.5 turns and makes it out to the other side. So that's a lot more complex. Then this third line over here, LSR, that stands for low side roll. The most common variation in West Coast swing, still currently on an inside roll, is this: 1 and a 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And then, of course, starting from 2000, we have the ronde styling: 1 and a 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So that's going to be the third line of our pyramid of basics. Thank you, Tess Minnick. Now the fourth line. The fourth line is an outside turn or a clockwise turn, and that's going to be for the same right side, left side, and variation. This means tuck turn, or TT, that looks like the pi symbol. We have the Dallas side pass and the double outside roll. So we have a basic, and a variation. Over the course of my teaching, I have flipped these two a lot, trying to figure out which one is the true root and which one actually is the variation. And currently in 2020, the double outside roll to me is the variation. So Tess and I are now going to show you the fourth line of the pyramid of basics, starting by bringing her down my left side. So this is our basic tuck turn: 1 and a 2, triple step, triple step. Was that complex or simple? Let's look at that again, shall we? Tess is facing the north wall. She comes through, she pivots and tucks her body and does a half turn, and now she's facing the way she came. That's pretty simple. Now, as we start that again, instead of sending Tess down the left side of my body or away from the camera, I'm going to send her down this slot, sharing the slot on the right side of my body. 1 and a 2, triple step, triple step. Welcome to the Dallas side pass. So you can see how that was a little more complex, right? Because I'm prepping my follower, and then she's doing a turn and a half to get to the other side instead of a half turn. So it's twice as much work. Okay, then we have the double outside roll. This is a move that you probably all do, and it looks like this: 1 and a 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Whether you use a hand change or not, it's the most common variation on that one side. Thank you, Tess Minnick. Okay. So the sugar push is the there and back. The left side pass, right side pass is a one-way, no return. We have an inside turn on the underarm turn, inside roll, and low side roll. And then we have an outside turn for the tuck turn, Dallas side pass, and double outside roll. All right, now we have the fourth line. The fourth line are the full returns. All right, what this means is that I'm going to have a whip that starts the directional down one side and goes back the other, versus a same side whip. So, Tess Minnick. If you notice, for all of these basics, these four, Tess is going to start and end on the whiteboard side of the studio. So the first one, an A and a B. The A is the leader's right, the B is the follower's left from the first point of movement, which means this is an A and this is a B. If I were to give her a turn in this, it would still be an A and a B. It would be annotated differently, but please know that an AB is a regular whip. Then on the board, we reverse that. So we do a B and an A. Without the AB philosophy, you might, on a regular whip, have to show the follower that you want to lead a whip. And on the reverse, you'd have to show the follower visually that you want to lead a whip. The third and fourth variations, we have AA and BB. AA would be keeping the follower present on my right side. A, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's still a whip, it's still a double, triple, and it has a return. The BB goes a B, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's how we would do the fourth line of the AB pyramid of basics. Now again, my goal in showing you this is to show you how I used to think about the world of West Coast swing, which patterns we use, how we can categorize them, and now thanks to AB philosophy, life is a lot simpler. So let's move down here to the bottom of the whiteboard. In the AB pyramid, we start with the there and back. That's the sugar push. Anything that you do in a sugar push form, sugar push tuck turn, sugar push inside turn, sugar push scroll, everything falls under that category of the SP. Then we have the A and the B, and this simply means we have a one-way. If you notice, we're solidifying these into just a shorter pyramid. On the A and B, and I'll show you these with Tess in a minute, this is going to be everything down one side and everything down the other, regardless of the direction, and I'm going to show you an annotation for how I would write that down. And then we're going to move into the AX, BX, and these are our returns, one way and back. Okay, so let's bring the lovely Tess Minnick back in. Thank you for joining today, Tess. All right, so the first top part of the pyramid of basics for AB goes, we have a sugar push. We can use two hands. We can use one hand. We can do a sugar push with a cross hand tuck. We can do that with a hair wrap. These are all sugar pushes because the energy flow is there and back. I can take my follower and leave her in place and move myself backwards in a scroll. Again, it's still a sugar push. There'll be no passing of the bodies. Then, as soon as we have to start worrying about spotlighting and moving to and from our frame, now we get into the second line, which are A's and B's. Once we have a post, if you were to be leaders, in fact, I'm going to turn this way. Leaders, once I have a post, the right side of my body is the A, the left side is the B, until we post again. So this would be an A inside turn. Now we've posted and we've anchored, which means which side is my A side now? The other side. So I would do another A side underarm turn. We've posted, we've anchored. Now which way is the A side? This way, my right side. Okay, but if I don't post, this is an A, and this would be a B. Now there's a post and an anchor, and now we would start again. So back to here, we have the A and the B. So this would be an A with an outside turn. Let's have you come back over here. This would be a B with an outside turn. And one more time, Tess Minnick. This would be a B with an inside turn. And of course, there are so many variations for all of this. And now I'm going to show you how I would annotate it, and then we're going to dance it. All right, so if I take this line and I say, all right, now I'm going to do an A with a turn inside, and I'm going to use the generic leader, not leader follower, sorry, female, male symbols. So on my key, I have the female symbol, the male symbol, and the female-male combined. I believe in total equality. Anyone can lead, anyone can follow, anyone can do whatever they want. I use this because in the symbology, it's easier for me to understand this, and hopefully that we can make a discovery together and change these symbols to something that everyone will like. But for now, we're still going to use these symbols. So going down here, I'm going to lead an inside turn for the follower on the A side. All right. Actually, I'm going to start you over here. Nope, over here. All right. So if we've posted, where's my A side? Well, my right side is my A side. You can always remember this because a whip is an AB, generic whip, so it's going to come down one side, down the other. So I need to give her a counterclockwise turn down my right side, okay? Counterclockwise turn down the right side, right? We can all do that. Let's start you again. But maybe I change hands and I give a free spin. Does that still maintain an inside turn for the follower on A? It sure does, because she's turning to her left, and we still make it out to a post and an anchor. What would happen if we were in closed position and we had a post, and I said, we're going to go walk, walk, triple step? Well, she didn't have to turn, so therefore, we wouldn't have this on top, and that would just be an A pass. What would happen if we were in a prepped position with a torque, and I brought her down this line, and I went turn to closed position? That would be an inside turn on the A side. So any movement that you do can be broken down into this structure. Then instead of saying inside turn, let's turn this into outside or clockwise. So I'm going to start you on the same side, Tess, Minnick. Outside turn down the A side, okay? This could be the Dallas side pass, triple step, triple step. This could be a prep for a one-footed turn that has a post and an anchor. This could be a free spin that travels. This could be a free spin that travels and holds as long as it doesn't go anywhere else. But as soon as I bring Tess Minnick back, now we've moved down to the bottom row, which is AX, which would become an AA. I'll get to that in a minute, though. So for the key, we have turns, we have inside for counterclockwise, we have outside for clockwise, we have the follower, we have the leader, we have both together, and that's what we're now going to play with. So what would happen if I did a B with a turn for both of us? A B with a turn for both of us. Well, I'm going to start you on the same side, Tess Minnick. The B is my left side. So I'm going to bring her down that side, and I'm going to turn both of us. I'm going to take her down the B side, and I'm going to turn both of us. I've never led either of those moves. And I would have to go back into my philosophies and go, how is center separation working? How is to and from the wrist working? But we have a new movement dynamic, and now you can communicate that with other dancers and say, here's where my energy flow is going to go. A basic A pass again. If Tess is here, my A side's my right side. This would be a basic A pass. And this would be a basic B pass. The B or the A pass is only completed once we have a post and an anchor. So until we have a post and an anchor, it's still the same movement dynamic. What that tells us is that if I can bring my partner down the A side, catch my partner, and send down the B side, that's now the bottom row here. So the X can be replaced by an A or a B. So what I just led Tess Minnick in is an AB. But as a follower, she doesn't know what I'm about to do. As a leader, I don't know what I'm about to do. If you're dancing a routine, the goal is to have the connection look like you don't know what you're about to do, even though you do. And socially, for improv dancing, which is my passion, I don't want to know what I'm doing ahead of time. I want to be responsive to my partner and to the music and to my environment. So if Tess thinks that this is an A side pass and her energy moves with body flight in that way, And if she feels that this is a B side pass and she moves with her energy that way, in theory, then it's not a B pass, it's just a B that we can then take and move and dance. We're going to show you what will deter you from dancing this way. Tess, I'm going to put your booty towards the camera. If Tess were to move outside the slot, even 5 degrees on a left side pass, I can't grab her. That's more like 30 degrees, but just go off the side of my shoulder. If she goes off the side of my shoulder, I can't grab her and send her back, and I can't grab her and send her around because we've gone too far outside the slot. But followers, if you're moving directly into your own wrist and ignoring this mass in front of you, move into your own wrist, then right here in the 3-4 position of our whip, this is identical to if we had started here and I brought Tess Minnick down this side. So it shouldn't make a difference what side you initiate a whip. And this is one of my passions, is figuring out how to just create this movement. So that would be an AB. So now let's look at the simple versus complex. If I lead, actually let me jump in here and erase this for a second. All right. If I'm going to lead an AB, I know I'm going to lead this. I'm telling you I'm going to lead it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a turn inside for the follower. So this is beats 1 through 4. This is beats 5 through 8. And we're going to be adding on an inside turn for the follower over letter B. How many ways do you know how to do this? I can probably come up with 20 or 30, and if I think about it enough and write it down and work on it, there are so many possibilities that you've never even considered. So this would be an A, B with an inside turn. This would be an A, B with an, oh, Doug, you're going to make a cut there. This is an A, and this is a B with an inside turn. This is an A, this is a B with an inside turn. This is an A, this is a B with an inside turn. So there are so many things that you can do with using that inside turn that maybe you were not aware of before. Now the inside turn, we can all agree, is pretty simple when we look at what the opposite of the inside turn is. So an inside turn is the same as an underarm turn. Very simple. If we do the other side, it becomes complex, which is an inside roll, 1.5 turns. Remember that part of this lecture. So if I do an AA with an inside turn for the follower, this now becomes complex. Sorry, start down here. So this is an A, 2, 3, and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. That's a same side whip, or a hustle whip if we had to have a term for it. But for me, it's an AA inside. If I did an inside turn into a whip, that would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Well, how would we annotate that? So for that annotation, we'd have an A and a B, and we would put the turn inside for the follower on the first half of the whip, on the A. So if we were to dance that again, this is an A inside turn with a B pass. This would be an A inside turn with a B pass. This would be an A inside turn with a flat pass. Okay? So now what would happen if we added on, use another color here, let's use green. What if I added on something to the second half? Let's do an outside turn for the leader on the second half of this whip. So Tess, I'll start you over here again. So first I give my follower an inside turn. Then as I give her a non-turn pass exit, I need to turn myself to the right for clockwise. So we'll go 5, 6, 7, and 8. Or my new current favorite variation, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those are both inside turns for the follower on the first half of the whip, and an outside or clockwise turn for the leader on the second half of the whip. So now let's take this even farther. Let's say we wanted to do what I call the car wash whip, which means we're going to be turning the leader and follower at the same time on the first half of the whip. So you would use, in the intensive course, you're going to look at the movement mechanism section to learn all this stuff. But just for the demo, this is both of us turning simultaneously, still hitting the midpoint of our whip. So I have options. I could let her go. I could bring her down the A side, or I could bring her down the B side, as I've written on the board. Now, how are you going to practice this at home? And here's how you're going to do it. You're going to take your Post-it notes. And with the Post-it notes, you're going to write an A, and you're going to write a B. And this is just for the first couple of times you do this until you get used to it. In the room that you're practicing this in, either by yourself or with a partner, Tess, I'm going to put the A on the ground on one side and the B on the ground on the other side. You can put it on the wall or wherever you'd like to put it, just so you can reference the fact that A is there and B is there. So now, I'm collecting pens. So now what you're going to do is do all A side passes. So we have a 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, 5 and a 6. We've posted, we've anchored. Now you would pick up the Post-its, change them, and then we would conjugate more verbs. A side pass. Maybe I want to do an A with an inside turn. Great. But everything you do is going to go down the A. Then you're going to do the exact same things down the B side. So, again, initiating with my left side in a post being the B. So I would give Tess a B side pass. Then I would switch the papers and I'd give a B side inside roll. And I'd practice all the variations on that side. The second step is going to be using one wall in your dance room to practice the same movements. So let's say we chose to do an let's say an inside turn for the follower. So if I keep Tess on the camera side of the room, this is an A with an inside turn. Then I'll do a B with an inside turn, B because it's on the camera side of the room. Then I'll do a different version with an outside turn. Then I'll do a different version with an inside turn. And see what I can do just so I get the language in my head and keep that on one plane. So that's how we first do the ABs. Now for this next part, Tess, thank you so much. I'm now going to erase the pyramid of basics so we have more room to work. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to annotate the whip sequence and the pass sequence for practice. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take, let's start with the whip. So we have 4 ways that we can write down the 2 letters together of A and B. So we have AB, we can reverse it, BA, we can go AA, and we can go BB. And I'd like you to write these in a vertical column like this. Now we have our key, and our key is going to be a turn symbol, the I for inside, the O for outside, the follower symbol, the leader symbol, and the together symbol. Now with this key, we're going to place these symbols over the second column. So I'll use a different color for ease of viewing. So let's do an inside turn for the follower. So now we're going to be doing this on the AB, then we're going to do this on the BA, then the AA, then the BB. Yes? All right. So paging Tess Minnick, paging Tess Minnick. Let's show you guys what these look like. There she is. So starting off, I know that we have a post. There for my right side's my A. So I have an A with an inside turn on B. Then I'm going to do a B with an inside turn on A. Again, we're not worried about the lead-follow dynamics. We're just looking at energy flow. Then the third one down, we have AA. So now I keep Tess on the A side. A, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then we have the BB. This should be a simple one again. 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so that's what this would look like. And now let's change that I to an O. So now we're doing clockwise turns. Again, I'm showing you a basic version of each, not a basic of each. So there's so many things you can do with this. We have the AB with an outside turn. Maybe on your basic AB, you want to do a double. Why not? It's still an outside turn on an AB. Then we have the BA. Now, this is sort of fun. Actually, let's go back to here for a second. If we look at the complex A outside is either a Dallas side pass or double outside roll. The simple version, the B side, of an outside turn is a tuck turn. Super simple. So when we're doing an AB with an outside turn, I'd like to propose that this is complex. It's complex. It's 1.5 turns. So the opposite of that, the mirror of that, the BA, B, 2, 3, and 4. We go 5, prep, basic tuck, 7, and 8. So it's actually simpler on the exit to do a BA with an outside turn for the follower. Then we have the AA, keeping the follower on one side, 3 and 4, 5, tuck, triple step. And then we have the BB, B, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you can see that we have a variety of ways of dancing this. And again, when we get to the movement mechanisms chapter, I'm going to show you how this lead follow all works. So now here's your assignment. I would like you, here's your homework. You are now going to do 4 different versions of this. 4 different AB turns for the follower outside turn.
Every morning when I wake up, I got trouble in my makeup. It's jumping around my brain, it's pumping through my veins. I got a rumor in my mind, it's crawling on my skin, it's howling in the wind. I know 1,000 ways to die. I need you now, I got a sickness. I take a pill, my only witness. It's tangled in my hair, it's poison in the air. It calls to me at night. It's coursing down my throat, a dark deserted road. It's swallowing the light. Trouble, oh, trouble. I got trouble on my mind. Trouble, sweet trouble. Lord knows it's the only thing I seem to find. Trouble on high, trouble down low, same old kind from long ago. Trouble for miles, trouble for days, trouble in 100 ways. I got trouble, trouble on my mind. I got trouble on my mind. Trouble, oh, trouble. Lord knows it's the only thing I seem to find. Trouble to the left, trouble to the right. Trouble in the day, trouble in the night. Trouble for miles, trouble for days. Trouble in 100 ways. I got trouble. Trouble in my mind. Every morning when I wake up, lazing in the shade on some September day, underneath the willow tree with me. 'Cause ever since you went away, all I've got's a memory of where we were lazing in the shade. I still remember how we used to find familiar faces in the sky, exchanging glances about how we've got it made. Now they're only asking why. I'm all alone, lazing in the shade. I still remember how we used to play.
Okay, so hopefully you've come up with 4 new ways of things you haven't thought about doing before. If you were in a workshop and we were all working and discovering this together, every single couple or group in this workshop could have a different variation using these rules and energy structures. So I'm going to now show you the Apache version, or the Texas Tommy version of the outside turn. So if we do an AB with an outside turn, we'll call that a whip with a Texas Tommy. You can call that an AB with an outside turn. It's just a variation of that energy flow. So now the question, people, if you're going to take this as a Texas Tommy, and let's write in Texas Tommy so that we remember that that's what we're doing. And now, instead of AB, we're going to do that as a BA. And we're putting this turn, we're putting this turn over the second letter still. So let's go over the Texas Tommy one more time, not for lead follow, but just so that we see the flow. So my partner is doing something that is now complex. It's a turn and a half The same way if she were doing a whip with an outside turn, okay? So it's complex. What is the opposite of the complex outside turn? A tuck turn. The tuck turn is the answer. So if I do a BA, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, we can go 5, prep 6, and then tuck out 7 and 8. So that would be B, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And that's a tuck with a reverse. This is not a movement that I use a lot by any means, but it's my favorite way of demonstrating and showing you all that you can take something that you do for granted all the time. You can use the Texas Tommy, but using it now in a different flow state and figuring out the complex versus simple ramifications. All right, so now we have our A, B, B, A, and B, B. And now let's move this to the first letter. So now let's do a turn inside for the follower. All right, we're going to do this on each of these. So you're welcome to watch or try it with me. Either way, you're going to be practicing the crap out of this right after. So A, inside turn, I'm going to choose to do the free spin for the follower and catch her and send her down the line. On the B side, I'm going to choose right now to start cross-hand and go over her head, because why not? 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you notice my footwork, I'm combining doubles and triples and using triple step rearranging in order to keep my feet under my center. Tess is doing the same thing. Then we have the AA. AA with an inside turn for the follower. Maybe I'll use a cross-hand free spin on this one. Oh, actually, I'm going to go with an upper wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an A and an A. That was a turn in and then a prep out. Then a BB. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Again, this is going to get you out of your generic control group of what you always do as a dancer. Followers. I know what you're saying. This is great philosophy, but how does it apply to me directly? Well, two things. One is that instead of thinking about going down a side of the leader's body, followers, I want you to go into and away from your wrist and share the crap out of this slot with your partner. When you try to go at an angle, it doesn't allow for this to work. The second thing followers are going to do, if you go back to the drifting chapter in this intensive, Tess, you can leave me for a second, and let's put you over there. If Tess gives me a sugar push, and I choose to drift to her right, my left, she is now going to give me an A and bring me down that side of her body in whichever move she wanted to lead me. But the fact that I drift to one side or the other, that's what shows my partner, hey buddy, why don't you bring me down that side or this other side, and allows us to have a base level of communication instead of leader, lead, follow, follow. Okay, so now, as we're doing this with the two letters, and I'm going to request that you do every variation you can think of for everything in the key. Now we're going to go down to the single letters. Single letters. All right. So we have an A, and we can say, let's do a turn that's outside for the follower and for the leader, just as a complex version of this. So Tess, I'll start you over there. A side is my right side when we have a post. Right to you is turning in the outside direction. Right to me is turning in this direction for outside. So as I bring her down the line, we're going to end with a post and an anchor together. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Just one variation I felt like doing right now. I've never done that one before in my life. And every time I do this, I have these discoveries and go, I can lead something that way. What's the movement mechanism? So you're going to try this with the A, and you're also going to put in everything in the key for B. Yes? All right. So once we try that, we have our sugar push, we have our passes, and we have our whips. We have the fact that the followers can drift to one side or the other to subconsciously tell your partner which way you'd like them to bring you down on their side of their body. We're trying to stay as tight to the slot as possible. And now, instead of having an argument that says, is this a right side pass or a left side pass? We go, okay, let's see where our post is in a traditional left to right hand hold open. That would be my B side. So instead of saying it's a left side pass, I would say this is a B side pass. I would say that this is a B side pass. I would say that this is a B side pass with not much flexibility for Doug today. I have not stretched in at least 3 hours or 3 days. So that's the AB philosophy, lovely people. Hopefully this shows you different ways of controlling where the energy goes and harnessing it. Oh, one more thing. We talked about the Texas Tommy. And the Texas Tess. Now it's the Oregon Tess. So if we took this Texas Tommy, and if in a whip, it was going to be a turn outside for the follower, this would be the Texas Tommy. What would happen if we just did this as an A? So if we were going to Texas Tommy this, and again, you'll need to go to the movement mechanisms chapter when you get there to learn this technique. But this is very common in salsa. But we can go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. We have to and from the wrist. We have our slot control. And now you can do a Texas Tommy through. Using movement mechanisms, this is how you could lead an acceleration to a stop, for example, or to a shape, or to a style. All right? So that's the AB philosophy. We have our key. We have the structure. And there you go. And that is how the pyramid of basics in the AB philosophy, or in just the sugar push through whip basic pyramid, works from my intensive platform.
I broke your heart, then you broke mine. So I guess the punishment fits the crime. But baby, I've been thinking lately that I've done my time. So I'll say a fond farewell, and what the future holds, well, nobody can tell. But at least I learned a thing or two from living through this hell. We kept on running, and I kept on coming. When I should have been leaving, the funny thing is I still believe in us. But I've been shaking like a candle in the wind, and I've been acting like a stranger to my friends, and I'd do anything to get my fix. But I've got to kick this addiction. You become my heroine. Now I had hopes that you were coming around, but you get me high, then you let me down. And for far too long I have played this clown. So this game of cat and mouse is coming to an end, 'cause I'm sick and tired and can't pretend. Baby, I don't wanna be your friend. Well, you kept on running, and I kept on coming. When I should have been leaving, the funny thing is I still believe in us. But I've been shaking like a candle in the wind, and I've been acting like a stranger to my friends. What if we were lost at sea, on a boat, just you and me? No cell phones and no society, and the world just let us be. We could sleep all through the morning, talk all through the afternoon, and dance all night under the silver moon. Oh, yeah, yeah. I feel your body sway, I'm lost at sea. Your waves come crashing over me. Lost at sea, me, I'm lost at sea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and you, yeah, just us two, sailing off into the blue. I only wanna be the skipper if you'll be my crew. We'll find places we never knew. Then we'll sleep all through the morning, talk all through the afternoon, and dance all night under the silver moon. Ooh, yeah. I feel your body sway, I'm lost at sea. Your waves come. I broke your heart, then you broke mine, so I guess the punishment fits the crime. But baby, I've been thinking lately that I've done my time. So I say a fond farewell, and what the future holds, well, nobody can tell. But at least I learned a thing or two from living through this hell. We kept on running, and I kept on coming. When I should have been leaving, the funny thing is I still believe in us. But I've been shaking like a candle in the wind, and I've been acting like a stranger to my friends. And I'd do anything to get my fix, but I got to kick this addiction. You become my heroine. Now I had hopes that you were coming around, but you get me high, then you let me down. And for far too long I have played this clown. So this game of cat and mouse is coming to an end, 'cause I'm sick and tired and can't pretend. Baby, I don't wanna be your friend. You kept on running, and I kept on coming. When I should have been leaving, the funny thing is I still believe in us. But I've been shaking like a candle in the wind, and I've been acting like a stranger to my friends.
Lazing in the shade on some September day, underneath the willow tree with me. 'Cause ever since you went away, all I've got's a memory of where we were lazing in the shade. I still remember how we used to find familiar faces in the sky.